Hi, welcome back everyone to Jedi Fallen Order. If you remember the last time that we were here, we learned some secrets about the second sister, as well as Sayre's background and a little bit of Grease's as well, so we still have a long way to go before this game is over. Let's continue our journey. We'll wait to move for a second until the textures and everything have loaded in. There we go. If I remember correctly. Yep. So we went ahead and planted our first seed last time because we got a collectible seed before our last adventure was over. Because the last thing we did last time was Cal got rescued by Grease and Sayre from the criminal elements.
Supplies hidden all over Bogano. Could be worth a trip back to explore.
So this is another point where the game kind of splits a little bit. The story tells us to go back to Kashyyyk, but now that we have some expanded force abilities, we actually want to go back to Bogano because there are some things that we can get here that we're going to need.
You know, even after all the action you two bring, I still get a thrill watching the games.
And as long as you keep your habits in check.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I'm just a spectator. No gambling or nothing going on.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking pure entertainment. Nothing gets me going more than watching a couple slubs square off. Just slick moves and brute force.
Captain, I am slightly troubled by your enthusiasm for something so barbaric.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it is true. Totally barbaric, but still kind of entertaining. All right, we're here. Get in your chair.
Conversations that I've had with my family about American football. And we can't get everything here on Bogano. There's still plenty of things that aren't unlocked for us here yet because there's actually more traversal abilities that we haven't retrieved. But
How many of the creatures out there actually eat little Aterons like me?
I don't know, Grease.
Right. You doing okay? I need to check on your state of mind now and then because if you go, then I go in a much more painful way.
I haven't really thought about it.
Oh, I get it. Too busy on the task to worry about yourself. I do the same thing all the time. I don't know if you heard, but I cook.
I've heard.
Well, sometimes I'll be focused so much on braising a shack roast that I barely even notice that my apron is completely on fire. So, you know, I get it.
I guess you do, Grease.
I'm still here, though, so that's gotta mean something.
Doing all right, BD? Good to hear. You more afraid of the wildlife here or the Haxian brood?
I don't know if I'm even worried anymore, kid. I think I've hit a limit.
You're thinking of leaving?
I haven't been keeping full count, but I'm sure I've got to make good on my job. The brood kind of botched up my clean record with Sayre. Well, semi-clean. So no, not leaving just yet.
Hey, Grease.
You still giving Sayre the cold shoulder?
I'm just focusing on the mission.
Hey, I get it. But she is trying the best she can.
Why didn't she just tell me about Trilla? We were supposed to be a team.
It's not about team spirit. Look, there's some parts of our past that we don't want to face, let alone share.
I guess.
Even me, believe it or not. One time, I hid out from a hut loan shark in a bale of Nerf fur.
Oh, yeah?
Cal, pay attention. I ain't ready to dig into that episode yet. Hurry up here, I'm hungry. Might try a new recipe for smoked Kadu ribs.
Alright, so there's some nice little optional
Cal, do you have
conversations.
a second?
Let's see what Seer has to say
When we
after
first
our
brought
last
you
adventure.
here, when you proved yourself to be the one we were looking for, that's when I should have told you everything.
You made your choice. I get it. Doesn't change what we have to do.
Maybe not what we have to do, but how we go about it. I made the wrong choice, and I put you in danger. That's no way to guide you.
Never asked you to guide me.
Before you, this quest was all on my shoulders. Sure, I had Grease, but he didn't really know the importance of what we're trying to do. I can't expect you to do it all yourself.
You've told me everything I need to know. Right now, the only thing I can do is finish what we started.
I understand. I'm here to support you if you need me.
Thanks. I'll be fine. It's not easy to find something hidden from the Empire.
No, it's not. We did find you, though.
Yeah, almost close to death. I slipped up, I gave myself away. I drew the Inquisition to me.
Grease and I used to search for blame, too. We went back and forth after every promising lead brought us to one dead end after another. And one close call after the next.
Mistakes happen. All we can do is try to learn and move on.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You must have come here a lot with Cordova.
No. Actually, he never brought me here. He did tell me about it. I was the only one who knew of its location.
He trusted you.
I suppose he did. He trusted I'd believe him and finish what he started.
Hopefully he was right.
BD-1 thinks so.
He's one bright droid.
BD-1, keep an eye on Cal for us.
There we go. So yeah, nothing important, but just a little more depth, I think, for everybody. So let me see. What can I do now? Oh, here's something that we can do. Right over here. This is an area that we technically could have gone to before, but we couldn't do anything down here yet. So
Hey there, little guy.
there's a bogling that runs away and hides in there. But now that we have some force abilities,
We'll find you a home.
yeah, we just added another member to
This
the
is
crew.
the same kind of sphere and socket from Zepho. What do you think it does?
So now, if you remember playing Knights of the Old Republic, you'll have the Giska wind up on your ship and just kind of end up in random places. The bogling is very much the same, where the bogling will stay on board the Mantis and will kind of end up in random places every time you go back to the ship, and you can listen for it, you can look for it. It's never in a place that you could interact with it. It's usually like under the floor or things like that. But it is very fun to kind of play hide and seek with it a little bit. It's also amusing that you kind of just bring this random alien creature aboard. Oh, almost had it. So this is a pretty simple force push puzzle. So technically we could have done all of this after our trip to Zepho gave us the force push ability, but there we go. I got it, BD. No need to get a hint. So this gold chest is an extremely important chest. We already saw another one of these on another planet that we've been to. But basically just increases the number of stim canisters that BD has, which increases the number of times that he can refill our health during combat. Or outside of combat, as the case might be. So that's very useful. It's one of those things where if you're playing on a higher difficulty, you want to try to make sure to scrounge and find every single stinking one of those things, because you're going to need them. Alright, so let's go ahead and explore a little bit more this planet than we were able to previously, now that we have some additional force abilities at our command. Just like before, though, I'm going to do my best not to kill anything. The only enemies on this planet are wildlife, and, you know, none of them are really threatening, per se. They're just kind of around, so... If I remember correctly, we were over there before. We weren't able to really do anything. Let's see if we can do anything now. If you remember, we came down here before, and Cal commented that he couldn't really do anything before, so... Let's try it and see. And also, this area lets us get nice and close to this big guy right here. Such a cool looking creature. And he's just there for background purposes. You don't fight him. He never attacks you. Unlike half of the life on this planet, he's completely docile. So he won't go after you at all. He just kind of sits there and watches. And guess what we found? Another one of these bad boys.
Should be here. Wait, can you carry more? Thanks, BD1.
If I remember correctly, there's 10 of these in the game total. I mean, obviously you start with 2, so you end up going up to 10 rather than finding more to reach 10. But this is actually an area we've been to before. We're just up a level higher than we were able to get to previously. We came down here the first time we were on Pagano. So... yeah, because there was a Force Echo right here that we actually grabbed. So, let me see. I believe there's another thing that we can get here, but I don't remember if we have to... That's one of those things that we actually have to kill enemies to do. Yeah, because... So what it is that plant right there, we can actually have BD scan that and get a seed out of it for the terrarium, but these enemies are going to stop us from doing that because BD won't scan it as long as those enemies are around. I'm going to see if I can lure them over here. So those are very interesting looking creatures. They're like somewhere between dogs and maggots, which is kind of weird. You see, BD won't even do it for me. I really don't want to have to kill you guys, though. It's not worth grabbing a plant, you know? Let's see. Ow. Yep, that was the wrong way. See, I always get turned around in this room. There it is. There's where we need to go. Alright. So there's an area down here to the right that we were able to kind of look at previously. That platform right there can actually be pushed down so that we can walk across it. And there's some collectibles on the other side that we're going to want to grab. Yeah, now that we have the Scomp link, BD can open up these chests.
I knew you jumped in there. What you got there?
Yay, there's a new skin for BD1. Which, again, we're not really going to change up much of that until later on in the game. There's kind of a thematic point where it makes sense to change things like Cal's lightsaber color. So this is an area that we haven't been to at all. It's this place here. Now, as before, there is stuff down there in the water, but since we don't have the ability to swim down there yet, we're just going to go ahead and climb up instead. So that's what I mean, is that we have a lot of the traversal abilities that you can unlock in this game, but we still don't have them all. Let's see. Ah, there's something for BD to slice.
That's how you do it.
Oh yeah, this is an important room.
My friend, I flew with all haste to Coruscant and presented my findings to the Council.
Let's check it out.
There's an old pit droid there.
Good job, BD.
There's a Force Echo here.
Cordova's repair kit. He hoped someone would pick up his trail, but left BD1 to guide them.
And over here...
This hilt belonged to Cordova. Feels weird to say about someone I've never met, but it's kind of comforting. I agree. This place is special. I added his hilt to mine. I want to keep a piece of him with us.
So now we have a double-bladed lightsaber. It's basically just changes up the way that combat works and allows you to work much better crowd control. It's very good at attacking multiple enemies at the same time. But, as before, we're not getting into fights, so there's really no reason for us to ever worry about it. The only time we're ever going to get into fights usually is during boss battles. So it will be kind of useful for a couple of encounters that we have later on. But yeah, you can switch back and forth pretty easily just by touching right on the D-pad there. And then left to go back to single blade. So that's really what the game wanted us to come here to find. It's one of those things that isn't mandatory. You don't have to find it, but it's in a couple of different places in the game, and at some point you're really going to want to if you're playing through this game normally, because there's it makes certain encounters and certain enemy types much easier to deal with. Though obviously for story purposes, nobody ever really comments on the fact that Cal has this this extra blade on his lightsaber or anything. For those purposes, he's only ever uses the one. There is another way to actually get the double-bladed lightsaber as well. Early on in the game, when we were first here in Bogano, I mentioned that the game was trying to basically tell you that you could go to Dathomir if you wanted to. If you do go to Dathomir that early in the game, there is the option to get the double-bladed lightsaber there instead of having to come back here at this point in the game. So you can get it much earlier that way, but it also doesn't feel as thematically weighty because it's just a random add-on for your lightsaber that you get instead of being connected to the story for it being Cordova's old lightsaber. So yeah, I did it this way on purpose because I felt like it was, number one, it didn't matter because we weren't fighting all that much.
Not a fan of nature, Grease?
Only behind glass. Otherwise, nature's not a fan of me. I mean, I may have 4 arms, but if you haven't noticed, I'm basically bite-sized for most deadly creatures.
But yeah, so our
You're making good progress, Cal. I'm glad you're with us.
We got a galaxy to save.
Not an easy task. Are you sure you're up to it?
I'm not sure, but I'm trying.
There are many who depend on you whether they know it or not. Don't doubt yourself, Cal.
yeah, so it just makes more sense for us to do it here. Oh, there's our little boggling friend. See him down there? What's up, buddy? So yeah, now we'll go to Kashyyyk and continue the story. Now that we have the lightsaber upgrade, as well as some extra stim canisters and other things.
Kashyyyk, home of the Wookiees. not bad back there. We've had some close calls. Hey, remember Tadola?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got word there was a Jedi in hiding there. We had to follow.
Oh, yeah, we followed up all right. Right into an Imperial-occupied system. At least at that time, they hadn't flagged us yet.
We thought it would be easy.
Yeah, except it was crawling with Imperials and heavy artillery, walkers everywhere.
We didn't know it was a Walker production outpost going in. Off-record, secret site.
So there I am, 50 meters over this thing. They're on the comm yelling, about to open fire. And you get on and just start apologizing. Sorry, we didn't know. Sensors down. My co-pilot's sick. We're about to drop out of hyperspace. Sit down.
Alright, so we're headed back to Kashyyyk to meet up with Mari and find Tarful. Mari was the captain in Saw's kind of coalition of rebels and other people. As you can see, even in the short time we've been away, this place has already changed. All of those soldiers and gunships and everything that were here before, they're all gone.
Normally, I wouldn't waste my time with the likes of insurgents. But I'm looking for a Jedi Padawan. And I know he's been here. And for that, all of you will suffer.
So Trilla was here and she was chewing the scenery. Let's see if our crew has anything to say before we head off.
Later, Cal. Please.
Yep, nothing.
Just let me know when you want to go.
Yep, nothing. All right, let's go talk to Mari.
Choisek and Mari drew a map to your rendezvous point with Tarful.
Mari said you were overrun. I didn't realize it would be this bad.
It's always this bad with the Empire. But there's still a chance for your quest.
I'll find a way to help you.
You've done more than your share. Thank you, Cal.
I think there are a couple of problems with the Wookiee models. I think their heads are either a little bit too big or their shoulders are a little too narrow. The proportions just don't look right.
It's good to see you're safe.
Sorry I couldn't be here sooner, but I haven't given up on Kashyyyk.
It's dangerous here. Saw's already gone. The casualties are just too high.
No. If you leave, the Wookiees lose support.
Not all. Mari is staying behind with Choisek and Tarful. Some of our troops went with them.
And you?
My child already lost one parent. I can't stay. But myself and the others will find a new way to serve the cause.
Be safe, Mariana.
Yeah, because if you remember, Mariana's husband was on Zepho when the Empire landed there. So, yeah. Okay, so now we can actually go down here and use BD's overcharge to get through this barrier and see what's on the other side. There we go. Ah, yes. This nice little collectible that we tried to get to before and weren't able to.
An abandoned patrol station. This is a dangerous area, BD.
Yeah, so this area... Yeah, let me... Yeah, we'll just go back the way we came. We'll just follow the way that the story wants us to go. There's still that spider encounter in there that we haven't triggered. So we're just gonna... But we're just gonna ignore it, because... You know, if we don't bother it, it won't bother us. Not sure a control panel should really spark like that, but, you know, whatever. So, Kashyyyk's fallen more or less to the Empire at this point, completely. Saw and his partisans have almost all completely fled the planet. The Wookiees are still fighting, obviously, but yeah. It doesn't end well for Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk doesn't get fully liberated from the Empire until the Empire is actually completely fallen. Like almost a year after Return of the Jedi. So there's a long way to go for this poor planet, and a lot is going to happen to the Wookiees between now and then. Oh, bounty hunter.
Taking aim. Took a hit. He's moving. I won't miss. You won't survive.
So these I should probably actually talk during this, shouldn't I? These sections are some nice little mini boss fights that happen completely randomly at planets that you've already been to. Now that the Haxian Brood are alerted to the fact that you're a Jedi, and they kind of hold a grudge after what happened to their headquarters. So each one is technically unique, but yeah, they're a pain in the butt because they hit really hard and they have a lot of different attacks. So it's kind of struggling there for a bit, but we got through it. So we need to go this way. So let's go this way.
Cal, do you read me? Seer gave me your comm frequency.
Mari, are you okay?
I'm safe, unlike too many of the others. Did Mariana give you our rendezvous coordinates?
She did. I'm on my way.
Good. We're just reaching them now, but we can't stay long. The Empire's looking for us.
I'll be there as soon as I can.
So this time through, we're going to get a much better look at what Kashyyyk's wildlife is like and how hostile a lot of it can be. It's a lot like the wildlife that we've already encountered on Zepho, where basically everything... They're unlike Bogano, where some of the wildlife is actually benign and they will kind of just let you by and let live. The wildlife here is almost completely hostile. So, yeah. So our rendezvous point is down there, so we have to go all the way around and down. And we're going to... Let's see. What's the easiest way to get across there? So we're basically in an entirely new area of Kashyyyk. And there's a lot to explore and a lot to do.
Stay close, BD. Those things look fast.
He's referring specifically to the flying enemy that's just kind of waiting patiently for us behind that grate. It'll attack us once we pull it down, but until we do that, it'll just kind of ignore us. So we could go back the other way, but I think that just loops back to where we were. So let's go ahead and pull this down. There we go. There we go. We'll just run by. Let me see. We got a couple of we got a force point for defeating those bounty hunters, so I wonder if we can unlock anything on the skill tree. So I remember we were debating with what we could get last time. Oh yeah. So we can get maximum life increase, increased for stims. I believe there's an increase force right there. Yes. Okay. This is what I'm getting. All right. So we have this skill and then this one for sure. And then more over here. So I believe last time I said we needed 5 more total points. Ow. But I think we actually are going to wind up needing 7 because we need the extra ones. Oh hey, Imperials.
You say so. Hit him already. I can't fight anymore.
Peace. Alright, so this is an area where we're going to want to use the double blades. Because it does that.
Back here. Are you even trying? Hear me. You'll pay.
Let's look.
Yeah, so once again, that was a fight that we had to get into. This one down here. The guys up there can stay as they are, but these two down here you do need to kill because, again, otherwise BD won't jump off and activate this panel for us, so that kind of needs to happen in order for us to progress.
Mari, are you there? I'm almost to the Shadowlands, at the wreck of a walker.
Saw managed to take one out in the escape.
Is he with you?
No, not anymore. We can talk about it when you get here.
So yeah, the Empire is finding out the hard way just how hostile the wildlife can be here on Kashyyyk. I believe my exit is right here. There it is. I thought it was down, but I forgot there was a zip line here. My bad. Now see, I like that much more as an area transition than the old narrow passage that you can only get through when the camera gets really close behind you. So let's grab this.
Hey, BD, take a look. What is it, BD?
This water seems like it'd be kind of nasty to swim in. There's like algae and stuff on the surface. I don't know. Let's see what's up here really quick. I think this is just our way back, but there might be an echo or something up here. I don't remember. Oh, there's something to slice.
Little help?
There we go.
Want to look inside? Oh, there was something in there.
A new poncho material. Is there anything else up here at all? No, just our way back. Okay. So let me actually do this really quick. Since we have a new poncho. What was that? Guardian? Yeah. We'll wear that instead. That was weird. Alright. Let's go ahead and meditate here real quick. We'll give it a rest so that we get our health back. So those bounty hunters and the stormtroopers beat us up a little bit, so...
Keep going! We're almost to the Shadowlands!
So I remember explaining a little bit last time what the Shadowlands are, but they are basically the underbelly of Kashyyyk. Underneath all of the massive trees that they have here on this planet, there's an area where the sun never shines. Thus,
Something smells.
Shadowlands.
This whole forest is live.
Well, yes, forests usually are, Kaz. Or Cal. Kaz is the protagonist of a different Star Wars media.
This isn't a discussion. Leaving Kashyyyk is our only chance for survival.
I won't abandon the Wookiees. I'll take any fighters who want to stay.
Then you'll be left behind. Troops, move out!
Come on. We're going to find Tarful.
So yeah, Saw just left. He decided it wasn't worth it to his revolution to stay, and he just left. Left the Wookiees to their fate to go fight elsewhere. So yeah, thankfully, all of the plant life that's here that might be hostile to you can actually be pretty easily avoided.
It's sacred to them.
And as Cal points out, this is actually a sacred place to the Wookiees. For them, this is a, I believe, rite of passage for a lot of young Wookiees to come here for one reason or another, usually on a task set by a village elder, to prove their worth. Ow. That was rude. Aw.
Your life is mine, Jedi. Barely a scratch. I'll catch you.
Something interesting?
You think after the second time that guy would have gotten wise, but I guess not.
Doing all right, BD? Good to hear. These jaw traps fake the scent of food to catch prey. Explains the Jogon fruit smell. Pretty creepy, though.
Ah, Jogan fruit. Those creeping vines are a little creepy, but you can avoid them if you just run. Not a big deal. Oh hey, one of those spider enemies that we faced on the mercenary platform. Freeze. Ow. Yeah, you just stay there for a little bit, and that slug guy's not going to be fast enough to stop us from doing this, so... I'm going to try to lure him over here. That'll do. I really want this echo. I don't think I'm going to get it as long as these guys are around. Once again, collectibles aren't worth these creatures' lives, so... yeah, we'll just continue. Sorry for disturbing you guys. We...
Ever seen a place like this before? Me neither.
This is a nice looking place. So we're technically not in the Shadowlands anymore. Well, I mean, technically we are in the Shadowlands, but not in the quote-unquote, you know, capital S Shadowlands. So, let's see. Let's go over here. Take a look at these nice looking plants. Now, first glance, you may think, well, everything else has been hostile to us, so surely that plant's going to hurt us. Nope, it doesn't. It just kind of acts like a spring or a jump pad or something and just flings us up into the air.
Hey, BD, in here. Yes, let's take a look.
Ooh, another new poncho material right away. Let's go ahead and switch to that. Yeah, unfortunately there are a lot of spiders around here, but fortunately you can avoid basically all of them unless you want to go for collectibles. They're fast and they're annoying if you want to actually fight them, unless you're good at countering them, but like I said, you can just avoid them for the most part. Oh, there's another collectible, but these guys are not going to let us get it, so... See, the spiders chased us all the way the heck over there. They have a pretty decent range on those runarounds, so let's hustle back here real quick and grab this echo.
These trees. I feel the force all around this place.
Okay, and it looks like everybody's followed us back this way, so now we can come over here and get this one. Everything went better than expected.
Is that? It's him!
So yeah, Tarful and his group came to the rescue of these, of the partisans that Saul left behind. Which is how Mari and her team got in touch with Tarful. He actually came to rescue them. So I believe there's a few different ways that we can go, but the way that we're supposed to go is that way, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I see it, BD. Nope, that's not it. Maybe it's down here. There you go. And if you could hear that spider chasing us all the way through that other part of the room. So yeah, those spiders, pretty persistent. Most of the enemies here in Kashyyyk are. They're very aggressive. Even the ones that are really slow. Okay. Oh yeah, duh. I always miss those. There's some people right up there. Well, hello.
Glad you made it. This is Chieftain Tarful.
I'm on a mission from Master Eno Cordova. He was looking for a Zepho artifact. Finding it could help save the Jedi.
Cordova found wisdom at the top of the origin tree. You should seek answers there.
It's massive. I don't even know where to start.
Well, you might be able to find a way up through its root system, but most of it's underwater. You'll need this breather.
Thank you. What will you all do now?
The only thing we can. Keep fighting.
Good luck. Hope we meet again. What happened between you and Saul?
We had a difference of opinion. He thinks the war is lost here.
And you?
I won't leave the Wookiees to suffer alone.
What if Saul's right? What if Kashyyyk can't be won?
The Empire's built on fear and indifference. By banding together, we challenge its very existence. This war is far from over, but it's worth everything to fight it, even if we don't know the outcome.
How'd you become a guerrilla fighter?
I used to be a topographer. Traveled to rule planets, mapping their natural formations.
Sounds exciting.
It was my dream job. Then the Republic became the Empire. The poor became indentured servants. I couldn't sit back and watch it happen, so I joined the cause.
I wish more people felt that way.
We'll keep fighting.
So, yeah, now we have that breather that we need to be able to reach things underwater. Which is going to be super handy for this area. And thankfully, the underwater sections of this game aren't too bad because, for the most part, the controls are very simple. You tap B to go faster. You hold A to swim up, you hold X to swim down, and, this is the best part, there are no enemies whatsoever underwater. Which makes it very easy to just explore. So this is something that I noticed. I don't know if this happens in all versions of the game, but it happens in all the ones that I've seen, where whenever you open a chest underwater, it plays out the animation on the chest like BD had climbed off of the chest, climbed into the chest, shakes it around, and then gets out. But BD never leaves your shoulder. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Alright, so that breather allows us to get to this new area, which is mostly just platforming. So we can't go and get that yet. You can see there's a gold chest up there, but we can't reach it. And, you know, the stormtroopers wanted
to keep them out forever.
Wanted to pick a fight with the Empire.
Until everyone's wiped out.
You know, they wanted to fight. They're gonna get one because these things are sure gonna give it to them. Yeah, this just kind of highlights how dirty the water is here. I mean, it's not like it's a sanitized pool or anything. It's a very natural green, probably full of algae and stuff like that. But again, not something I'd necessarily want to swim in personally, but Cal doesn't seem to mind. Whoop. Yeet!
Those things give me the creeps. Whoa, strong words coming from you.
Whoops. Should have jumped there. I just kind of let go. It's not what you were supposed to do. There we go, that's better. So right now, we're at the base of what's called the Origin Tree. It's the largest tree on Kashyyyk and something of a holy site for the Wookiees. And our job, our goal right now is to climb to the top.
Dodging a little fast. I think I'm done.
And the other nice thing about swimming is that stormtroopers are kind of stupid whenever you swim, so you can usually just swim to avoid them. Because they typically don't bug you. Okay, so we gotta go around and...
I've got a read on the Wookiee General's position. Close in.
So the Empire's been hunting Tarful for a long time. He was a Major General when the Republic was here, so he's kind of important.
Want to check it out? What's that, BD?
Yeah, fortunately wasn't able to quite get out of the way of that last rocket, but... Excuse me, boys.
He might escape. Heads down, taking the shot. I'm after him. We'll end this quick. Eventually.
Ah, they keep shooting me right as I'm about to jump.
He's dodging fast. Come on, hit him.
There, that's better. And since the stormtroopers are still shooting at me, those vines at the bottom don't trigger. Some nice little bonuses. Alright. Is it over here? No. We have to just keep going this way. Okay, there's a collectible here. See what I mean? The chest kind of shakes like BD got off your shoulder, but he didn't. He's still right here. Okay. So where do we need to go now? Under here, maybe? Yes, there we go.
Do you think the Empire would have come after Kashyyyk so hard if we hadn't intervened? The Jedi are supposed to be symbols of hope, but I led the Inquisition here. Mari and Tarful put their trust in me. Did I just endanger them again?
Whoops. Wrong button. Let's go ahead and rest and get our health back. Alright, so this is a platforming section. And this is an optional encounter. It's set up to be like a mini boss fight with that Purge Trooper with the cudgel, but guess what? It's not. You can just run right past it. This, on the other hand...
What's this? A Bronca scrap rat playing Jedi. I told the Grand Inquisitor you wouldn't be stupid enough to show your face here again. Especially after we wiped out that feeble resistance. Love it when I'm wrong.
So, the Ninth Sister there makes reference to the Grand Inquisitor, the leader of the Inquisitors, who shows up in the comics as well as in the TV show Rebels. Played by Jason Isaacs. It's too bad that he's not in this game, but oh well. Can't have it all. Cal's not that important.
Hang on!
Whoops, jumped a little too early. Didn't realize that's where the edge of the platform was. My bad. Let's get out of here. The Empire's crawling all over this tree. Oh, and the frame rate just tanks hard. Whew. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that again. That's better. Make like the Disney Tarzan film and just slide our way down parts of this tree.
Sisters, I should call. On second thought, she listens to their transmissions. Better find out on her own.
So Cal is still a little miffed at Seer. So he's just gonna let her kind of figure out that the Inquisitors are still here on Kashyyyk. So now we're actually at the base of the origin tree. Before we were just kind of scrambling around by its roots, but now we're actually at its base. So the Inquisitor rather, unknowingly helped us. Kind of got us to where we needed to go. And once again, there's a lot of spiders and stuff around here that will try to attack us, but we're just going to avoid the heck out of them and just go right on past. Now, let me see. Double check. There's a few different ways that, again, the game gives you a bunch of options as to different ways you can go. Only one of them is really the real way you're supposed to go, but let me see. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is an interesting trick that the game kind of teaches you. Which is to use... whoop. Nope, that's not how it works. Let me see. So I think you're supposed to wall run to get up there, but I don't remember where you have to start the wall run. I think it's... Oh yeah, it's up there. And to get up there, we have to go around this way to here.
don't know if it's friendly. That's the thing that took down the Night Sister.
So yeah, there's that whole area back down there that we could explore, but we're not going to because there's no reason to. It's mostly just filled with enemies and collectibles. And the collectibles don't really matter to us right now because we're focused on the story. That's not what was supposed to happen there. Neither was that. The problem, game, when you put this kind of motion blur on it, it makes it hard to judge these jumps. At least for me. But then again, I also have bad eyes, so that might be on me.
Get up. Try again.
Just keep failing, Master.
Do you? Good. Keep failing. Keep getting back up. That is the only way to succeed. Do not allow yourself to be weighed down by ego and pretense. Let go of what you fear to lose and rise up. Now, again.
So we have one last little bit of traversal technique to learn, and that's
Good.
a double jump.
Now reach my position. You can do it.
Just gotta keep getting back up, Edie. As long as we get back up, we're still in this fight. I'm finally back to where I was before the Purge, before Master T'Pol died.
So now, with the breather and that, we have all of our traversal abilities and we've unlocked our full skill grid. Which kind of tells you how under-leveled we are, because we should have unlocked most, if not all of this by this point. But you know what? We really don't need it. Because most of that has to do with lightsaber combat, and we're not using that all that much, except for the boss fights. And even those aren't too hard, as long as you know how to parry. Give this a whirl. So the double jump is extremely helpful because it lets you increase the distance of your jump. You can also readjust yourself a little bit in midair, and it allows you to do some extended wall jumps that are very, very, very nice. Look at how cool that creature is. It's so good. Oh, and this is supposed to be an arena fight with all of these. But guess what? We're out. And this is where we get a sense of scale for just how big this tree is. This thing's the size of a mountain. We have to climb all the way to the top. It'd be really hard if we didn't just get that double jump. Alright. So there is an echo back over this way that I want to get. As well as a collectible.
Want to look inside? What you got there?
Hey, another poncho. We got like 3 ponchos just in this visit to Kashyyyk. That's pretty good. So Wookiee bandolier.
This fell from a Wookiee as they climbed the tree. Some type of test.
Yeah, because that's one of those things that never gets brought up in the movies, but is pretty well established in the lore otherwise, is that Wookiees actually have claws, and they use them to climb trees. They just are forbidden to use them in combat or anything like that, because, I mean, obviously, that would make them look like savages. And, you know, despite their appearances, Wookiees are actually very intelligent and very gracious beings.
From the Clone Wars.
especially towards us scruffy, hairless humans.
Everything we did any of it matter?
See, now Cal has gone from his optimistic gung-ho phase that he was at earlier in the game to something much more introspective and almost a little nihilistic, saying, did anything that we do through the war, through any of the help that we've done for all of the partisans and insurgents here in Kashyyyk, does any of it really matter? Because the Empire just keeps throwing people at every opportunity into the fray to keep us from ever really triumphing. Let's go to our skill tree. I believe we can unlock our last life increase from the skill tree. We can still get life increases from finding more life essences, but that's about as big as our health bar is going to get for this playthrough. This is what our double jump lets us do. Make those stylish platforming sections look really easy.
We have to be careful. I don't want to spook it. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We're friends, understand? Friends. It's okay. It's a piece of the Night Sister's ship. We need to remove it. This is gonna hurt, okay? I'm sorry. Thanks, BD. Here you go. Oh. It's the least we could do.
I feel like that section plays a lot less thematically resonant if you've slaughtered your way through most of Kashyyyk's native inhabitants on your way to this point, but that's just me.
My friend, never have I seen a view more exquisite than atop this tree.
Oh, you found something.
Got a new paint job for the Mantis. Probably take a look at the ones that we've unlocked a little bit later. So our new friend, the Shieldbird, is just kind of waiting for us over here. And we'll actually, since we've helped it, kind of like Androcles and the Lion, they'll help us out.
There's still so much the Empire hasn't touched.
This is a nice, simple scene that shows that, yeah, even with all the damage that the Empire has done, Kashyyyk is still a beautiful planet. In that, you know, they can't kill the entire planet as long as the Wookiees keep fighting. As long as at least one Wookiee is still around, as long as at least one person is still around to oppose the Empire, they won't win. That's what Cal sees, at least. we'll just leave that. Kind of broke the animations there for a second. Because BD was trying to scan these lanterns up here, and you notice that they look very similar, though not identical, to the ones that we saw on Zepho. So they have the same kind of structure to them. Obviously, though, these are of different manufacturer.
At last, I found my quarry. The astrium, used by the Zepho sages millennia ago. I hold in my hand a piece of galactic history. Oh, I will never be able to thank Tarful enough. Do you know what this means, my friend? No need to return to Dathomir. Darkness clouded every attempt at finding the astrium inside Kujit's tomb, but the Force has provided a new path.
Kujit's tomb.
So the astrium that Cordova found is lost to us, but it's possible that there's another one on Dathomir. And I think the shield bird is ready to take us back down to the ground.
You're done hurting this world.
I don't know what's got second sister thinking you're so important. She likes her souvenirs, but I'm not in it for the memories, and honestly, you're not worth my time. So let's make this quick.
Boss fight.
Oh no! Come out and fight!
Not bad for trash.
What about for a Jedi?
Is there a difference?
All right, let's get this party started for real. This is the fight that a lot of people I saw online were saying that this is where they changed the difficulty of the game down from whatever they were initially playing on to something that was a little bit more manageable, because this is the first fight where you're expected to be able to parry and dodge and learn patterns and try and try and try again until you've learned how to deflect all of her attacks. Because this fight does not hold your hand. I didn't try this fight as over as many times as I did this first fight against the second sister on my run on Jedi Master, but it was definitely close. So that's a new type of attack that bosses will start using now. Since we have the double jump, we have to be able to jump over ground attacks and things like that now, too.
It's over. Being an incredible Inquisitor taught me no setback is too great. When you've already lost yourself, a limb's easy. You know, I was a Jedi. It'd be fun to bring you in. Watch you crush like the rest of us! Oh, angers you. Just wait till the isolation, torture, mutilation, and your dread! I won't let you touch them! You can't stop the Empire!
I can stop you. We just took down an Inquisitor. Hey! I thought you were dead.
So yeah, there's a 0% likelihood that the Ninth Sister is actually dead, but that's her her exit from this game, so you don't have to worry about her showing up again.
Okay. We should get back. Seer and Grease are expecting us.
Alright, so the Shio couldn't take us all the way back to where the Mantis is, unfortunately, but at least it dropped us off at the base of the tree, so. Our next goal, we have to actually go to Dathomir, find the Astrium. There. So yeah, we took down an Inquisitor. Maybe we didn't kill it, but whoops. That wasn't where I meant to go. This was. Excuse me, friend. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's something over here that'll be useful to us. More than just a collectible, I mean.
Want to check it out?
But the Ninth Sister actually shows up in the comics as well. I don't remember if that takes place canonically after or before this game. I want to say it's after, but I might be wrong.
Enemy here!
Because I do not currently partake of the Star Wars comics, so there are some things about them that I may get wrong. So remember this area? We were here back when Saw was still here, so...
You're too quick.
This is a shortcut that should take us back towards the landing area without much fuss. And unlike previous trips, our previous trip back to the Mantis after a long level, we don't have to worry about there being bounty hunters waiting for us, because we already took care of them. At least, fingers crossed, I hope not. I can never remember which way these elevators disembark you.
I heard something. Confirmed? The Jedi is here. Done this. Confirmed. Move back. Think you're tough stuff?
Alright, this is a collectible, an echo, rather, that we could have gotten before, but we're getting it now.
This Wookiee died from toxic fumes. The Empire is poisoning the planet.
I actually missed that one for a while in my initial playthrough, so... Alright, to get back to the Mantis, we want to go ahead No, actually, we want to go back and take that passage there. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is where we got the one of the upgrades to BD to allow him to hack into droids. Yes, we want to take this lift up. Perfect. So we're almost back where we started. This is where we fought the bounty hunters earlier in the same stream. Alright, there we go. Got through that scene transition really well that time, game. Good job. I'm proud of you. Once again, control panels aren't supposed to spark like that. There we go. We're already back. That wasn't too bad. Looks like Seer and Grease are already aboard, so let's just go ahead and head up. Oh yeah, this cutscene.
Cordova believed the key to the vault is on Dathomir.
You find your Wookiee?
Yep. Things are bad down there. Empires everywhere.
Inquisitors?
Altrilla, the second sister, is gone for now, but she's still chasing us. I defeated the ninth sister.
Watch Grease. Watch how much salt he puts on his food through this entire cutscene.
Cal, when I was captured by the Empire, I resisted. I swore to myself that I would die before I would talk. But then this dark shadow came. And he was worse than any nightmare I could have imagined. And I still fought. But in the end, I came apart. And I gave them Trilla. And I know there's nothing I can do to make that right. But Cal, there's still a chance we can save the others on the holocron.
Okay, look. The ninth sister said something about becoming an Inquisitor like it's inevitable. But you went through the same thing she did, and you didn't join them.
Cal.
It's okay, Seer. We'll find Cordova's holocron.
Hey! Get your lasers off my lunch!
He's just worried about your sodium intake, Grease. At your age, you gotta be careful.
BD1, keep an eye on Cal for us.
So yeah, Grease's that cutscene is really, really funny, only because of Grease.
Huge now.
Oh, look, our plant's growing up. I really wish we could take some time to grab some of the other ones, but we unfortunately really can't.
Go away!
Alright, alright. All that salt's making you cranky. Guess where we're headed to next, gang? Dathomir. Now, if you've seen any of the Clone Wars show, you know what...
Really?
You know what's going on.
Setting course for Wait a minute. You want to go to Dathomir?
I'm surprised Cordova went there. He must have had good reason.
I am staying put on the Manus once we arrive. Red sunlight cannot be good for your skin.
This place used to be home to a powerful cabal of Force wielders known as the Night Sisters.
They use the Force? What, the Jedi?
No. These witches served only themselves. Their powers focused on deception, illusion, manipulation.
Huh. Sounds like someone I used to know.
During the Clone Wars, the Night Sisters made a deal with a Sith Lord who betrayed their trust. In the end, they were nearly wiped out in a massacre. Dathomir is a deadly place. We should be careful.
Don't have to tell me twice.
So that kind of papers over the backstory for the Night Sisters from the Clone Wars show.
Grab some seat, kid.
Their home planet was quite brutally attacked a couple of times during the course of that show, but of course most of the stories about that have kind of faded into obscurity because everybody who was going to tell them those stories is dead.
doors, I got walls, I got Jedi, I'm fine. Yeah. Hey, Cal, you and her. Is everything all right?
Hell no. That's not what's important right now.
You know, Seer believes in you. And to tell you the truth, I didn't really think that much of you at first.
I noticed.
I mean, she got me to follow you to the scariest place in the galaxy, so, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I hope you two can sort this thing out soon so we can finish this quest and go relax somewhere. I know a great castle on Takodana that makes the best bloody rancors in the galaxy.
Of course, we get a Takodana reference in here.
Have you seen Seer?
What? Is this a trick question? You want me to go outside and find her for you?
No, it's okay. I'll find her.
You gotta quit messing with me, Cal. I mean, I'm tough, but fragile.
You hungry?
Cal, buddy, have you been outside? Do you know where we are? This is not a place to relax and eat. Let's get going. I'm starving.
Cal, do you have a moment? You've come a long way since Braca, but the path is far from over. I want you to know the difficult challenges ahead.
I can handle it.
I know what you can do. I'm not denying that.
And I know what has to be done. I've done it before.
Cal, even the strongest of Jedi.
I'm not Trilla. I'll be fine.
I know you're not. I didn't say that.
I'm not asking you to say anything. It's okay, Seer. Really.
Just be safe, Cal. That's all.
Hey, I know we haven't been on great terms, but can I talk to you about something? I need your help.
I'm listening.
I've reconnected with the Force, but I still feel blocked.
Why do you think that is?
Every time I open myself up, I see Master T'Pol.
You felt this, yet you've continued deepening your connection to the Force. You know what that says to me?
That I don't know what's good for me?
That you're strong enough to embrace your emotions. Give yourself time.
Seer, thanks for helping me. Means a lot. I never knew much about Dathomir.
Not surprising, very few did. Most of what I know is from Cordova. He had his reasons for coming here.
Seems like it.
Doesn't mean it's safe. Be careful, Cal.
Yeah, so Dathomir is by far the most unfriendly place, an unfriendly planet to go in this game.
Good thing we weren't standing there. What is that thing? Count on them being friendly.
Everything and everyone on this planet will try to kill us. So, we're going to try our best to keep a low profile and just walk away. There's a lot of places we can go. This is the first time we've been on this planet, so there's a lot of open space. Those doors right there are closed. Let's go down here. Yeah, there's some more bug enemies. We actually got a preview of these guys in the arena on the planet when the planetoid station or whatever it actually was, when the Hexian Brood caught us. There were a few of them in that area that we had to fight a whole bunch of dudes in, so that was fun. So yeah, there's a lot of like winding spires and weird backwards passageways and different places to explore and things like that here. And of course a lot of bugs that can spit acid, so that's nice. This is the way we want to go though. What'd you find, BD?
Looks like the Zeppo were here. Strange. This place seems abandoned, but...
You trespass, Jedi.
You must be a Night Sister. I had heard you were all dead.
Not all. Dothamir is forbidden to you. Leave at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that, but perhaps we could help each other. You see, Easy. I'm not your enemy.
Your actions say otherwise.
Wait, hold on. I'm not here to...
So this is supposed to be a fight, but guess what? As with most supposed to be a fights that I mentioned, it's not. We can just run away. So yeah, Night Brothers and Night Sisters. If you haven't watched the Clone Wars TV show, you're probably very confused right now because they go into all of this lore in a lot more detail. But yeah, there's at least one Night Sister who's still alive. And she has full command of their magic and abilities, which isn't good for us because that means that all of the Night Brothers here have are empowered, with extra strength and abilities that make them a match for Jedi in combat. So let's just run away. And if you recognize some of the tattoos and other things that the Night Brothers have, and you're wondering kind of in the back of your brain, and like I said, you haven't seen the Clone Wars, the answer is yes. Darth Maul was a Night Brother.
Where is your skill?
Come on, go up. There we go.
Come, fight me. You will fall before us.
But yeah, once again, we don't need to fight basically any of these fights. We can just go. Miss me.
Move forward.
Okay, and that opens the door that we just tried to unlock previously. So that's a nice shortcut for us to get over here. And find another dude.
Oh, fellow wanderer. I see you met the resident Night Sister, but unlike most, you're alive. Well, lightsaber? No, don't hide it. That would explain your survival.
Who are you?
No one to fear. Just a traveler, studying the nature of extinct cultures and dead philosophies.
You study the Night Sisters?
I study many things. But yes, that Night Sister, well, she was only a child when the war came to this world. She had to watch her whole family perish.
What do you know about those ruins?
Oh, ancient beyond belief. The Night Sister and her warrior kin were seduced by the power that lurks within. Avoid the ruins, or suffer the same fate.
So, if we were to have come here to Dathomir early on in the game when we had the option to, this is where we would stop because there was no way for us to get up there to that point without having the double jump like we do. So we can go up there now, but before we do, let's go ahead and get a couple more conversations with this guy.
How long have you been here?
Long enough. This world provided a sanctum when I was in need, shelter when I was weak, and enlightenment when I was lost in the dark.
Right. How do you know so much about the Night Sister?
Observation. I've seen many things since coming here.
What does that mean?
Must it mean something? Too many great minds have gone astray in pursuit of order.
I gotta get going.
Remember my warning. The death and madness await in the ruins.
Yeah, so the Wanderer is more important than he seems, but I think that's pretty obvious at this point.
Fight me, you coward!
Is this gonna be one of those things where I'm forced to fight? Of course it is.
I see movement. Come on, fight!
You will fall before us.
I'm not gonna attack you, so if you're not gonna attack me, are we just gonna all stand here? You could just leave, you know, just walk away.
I have him.
My blows will find you.
I just want to...
You coward!
Advance on him.
Jedi! The Jedi!
I understand.
All right, all right.
You will fall before us.
Yeah, because see, the Knight Brothers have some kind of latent force sensitivity of their own, so...
No outsider can beat us!
That and the Night Sister does kind of empower them to be able to do things that they wouldn't normally be able to do through her magic.
I will avenge them!
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Scared Jedi! A solid hit!
I didn't want to do this, you know. You're leaving me no choice. Waste.
Looks climbable, but not without equipment.
Die!
Whoops. That wasn't what was supposed to happen. Huh, but it worked out.
Can't believe we made it.
You've been through worse.
You sure know how to have fun.
We've been through worse, Cal. Don't even worry about it. It's also very interesting to me that at no point do they ever really talk about the Night Sisters' magic being of the dark side. Because though Seer does say that they use it mainly selfishly, that's mainly the thing. Because, you know, the way that I've always thought of it and the way that George Lucas thinks of it in terms of light side versus dark side isn't what kind of power is this, like, you know, in a video game. It's how is this power being used? So are you using the power selflessly, like a Jedi?
Stand aside.
No. He was right about you.
Who? What?
Jedi are thieves and selfish liars who bring nothing but death.
Back off. If you attack me again, I'll strike you down.
Oh, I won't do a thing. But my murdered sisters. They will have their revenge.
So yeah, we're in a zombie game now, folks.
More undead.
Leave this place.
So what I was saying before, the Force, light and dark aren't measure of what kind of power you're using. You know, the Jedi mind trick isn't inherently a light side ability, just like Force lightning. You know, it's the power is dependent on what you're intending to do with it and who you are using the power for. Are you using it for yourself? Are you using it for selfish reasons? You know, are you purposefully inhibiting someone from doing something? Are you attacking somebody? You know, things like that are of the dark side. You know, it doesn't matter where the powers come from necessarily.
You will pay for their death.
You know, that's why it's interesting to me that the Night Sister, they never say outright in this game that the Night Sisters are using the dark side. They just say that they are using their powers for evil. Because they were using them selfishly, and they were using them to seek power. But this Night Sister that we're encountering isn't doing that. She's using her powers to try to attack us because she thinks that we're a threat to her home.
Following us. Sierra called them force wielders. I've never seen it used this way before. We better stay on our toes. Wait, do you have toes? Any idea what that flying creature is? Let's hope we don't find out.
It's a giant bat. It's a giant bat with a beak, and we're going to have to fight it later. Alright, so this is a shortcut that should take us back down to the platform that we were on before, so we can avoid having to come all the way back up here. Because that's the area with the bugs.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the game, but you don't get the collectible until the animation finishes all the way. So that spider hitting us made it stop. So
Night Brother runes. Think we're getting close to a village?
Who is that? We will end you.
Someone was hunted here.
yeah, I'm being hunted here. Okay, we need to get up there. I believe we have to pull that down. Yes. Okay. Let's rest here, catch our breath for a second. So yeah, most of this world, since we are doing our best to avoid killing anything, is going to be just running battles. Technically speaking, even though this is a pacifist run, I could theoretically see getting away with killing the undead Night Sisters, but you know what?
Turn back, Jedi.
I'm just gonna go for broke and just be like, and just kind of make it a oh boy. I don't remember. So I know we have to push this box into the other room, but I don't remember if this is technically a forced encounter or not. I think we can just get around it if we just do this. Because despite that box looking really flimsy, it's actually pretty sturdy and allows us to get up here without much trouble. Okay. Yeah, that works. Alright. Another quote-unquote mandatory fight that we can just avoid. This is one of those things that I see. I can imagine a lot of speedrunners who wind up doing this game playing quote pacifist runs like what I'm doing, because this does seem like the fastest way to play the game, because the majority of what slows you down are the fights. So if you don't fight, the game moves much faster.
Think you can match me? Ah, I missed. You won't retreat.
Let's see. Where do I need to go here?
Fight me.
No.
What is this?
Ah, down. See the Night Sister up there?
We'll pass by the gate.
Whoops. Don't know why it made me use my double jump early there, but that was not what I intended to do. Hey, made it. That can be a tricky jump to make sometimes. You come out of that ramp a little fast. Alright, so all we're trying to do at this point is just to loop back around to where we were before with that that big old platform that with the climbing area. But because the Night Sister keeps closing gates in our faces, we're going to have to work our way all the way around to a completely different part of the planet, basically, to find our way to where we need to go. All the while having to dodge a lot of extremely angry wildlife and extremely angry undead and extremely angry natives. So yeah, this planet is great. You can see why Greaves was incredibly reluctant to actually come here in the first place.
Another one of those things.
Thankfully, though,
Vengeance for my sisters.
the wildlife and the undead witches don't get along, so we can kind of let them go up against each other for a little while. Oh, they killed it. I was not expecting them to actually kill it, because those things are... Well, I guess they are kind of paper tigers. They don't have a whole lot of health. Now, there should be a ramp that I can climb up around here. I may be misremembering, though, because this area, as you can probably tell, looks very samey and can get very confusing very quickly. Excuse me. Okay, because they can't reach me here, so I'm just going to go forward. Like I said, technically I could attack these things, but I'd rather not be attacking one of them and get something else killed in the crossfire. There's enough wildlife and other aggressive enemies in here that I can see myself trying to hit one of them and end up hitting a Night Sister instead. So this puzzle took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out. You have to try to climb these vines, but every time you force push that thing, it only stays there for a little while and it ends up snapping back. So what you have to do is use the first force power that you had in the game and just slow it. I think the problem was on my initial playthrough, it had been so long since I actually used slow for anything that I just completely legitimately forgot that I had it for a good, I don't know, 5-6 minutes and just kind of stood there.
That thing looks like trouble.
A trespasser. Stop this. He's withdrawing. Come, brothers.
Let me see.
Prepare to die, Jedi.
Okay, I want to unlock that shortcut right there. We'll move up here. Okay, so this is the way we need to go.
Only death awaits you here.
All right. Still don't have enough skill points to get that next ability, but you know what? That's fine. We'll unlock it eventually. Thankfully, the double jump makes it extra easy to climb down.
Wait up. It might be dangerous.
So remember I said we were going to fight it? We're going to fight it. It's also one of the easiest boss fights in the game because this thing telegraphs its attacks like it's the 1850s out here. Oh, did I just bug you? Nope. Okay. I thought I bugged it out for a second there, but I did not. It's just being super non-aggressive because I guess that's the difficulty that I'm playing at. Yeah, to do any real damage to it, you have to hit it in the head. Surprise, surprise. Remember what I said about shockwaves that the Ninth Sister kind of introduced us to? So yeah, this is rather than a traditional kind of saber fight, this is much more like a monster fight. It's much more focused on big, wide, sweeping patterns and attacks that do a lot of damage if they hit you, but are actually fairly easy to avoid if you know what you're doing. So that's the way this boss fight is supposed to go, especially on higher difficulties. You hurt both of its wings, stun it, force pull it down, and then attack its head. And it wouldn't let me flip for that second attack there. Yeah, even on low difficulties, this thing still hits like a truck. So you got to learn how to avoid its attacks, otherwise you're gonna do some. It's gonna do some serious damage to you. So stay right there for a second. I'll be right there. See, once you do a certain amount of damage, though, unlike almost everything else on this planet, it actually gets wise and pieces out.
I think it's gone.
And for the first time...
We're not doing too bad, huh? I need some help. Stim here, BD.
We'll get BD to stim us. Because we needed the health refill after that boss fight, because it kind of took its toll. You can parry that thing, but it's much easier just to dodge its attacks and keep attacking it. And hey, we found that climbing equipment we were looking for. Which just makes our climbing speed much faster and allows us to climb up these kind of pitted rock walls as well as the vine walls we've been climbing up before. So now we have all of the movement equipment we were going to get as well. So not just abilities, but everything else too. That wasn't how that was supposed to go. Let's try that again. And before, to climb faster, we have to kind of jump up the walls, but now it's actually faster just to climb and just let the climbing claws do the work for us. Very nice. Makes a lot of backtracking on some planets that we've already been to much easier. Even if it doesn't unlock new areas for us to go, it does allow us to move much faster across those climbing walls. Alright, we're back out on the surface again, so let's go ahead and jump over there. And I believe we're at about 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken, so go ahead and rest. Let me see. We can go for a little bit longer. We're a little short of 2 hours. Let's see. We can go forward or we can go the other way. Let's go this way. This is a new area we couldn't have gotten to before anyway. Oh, hey. Look who's back. Whoops. I was climbing as fast as I can. I don't know exactly what you expect from me there, game. But, yeah. So, just because that thing left and was smart about it, doesn't mean it stays smart about it. There we go. That's more like it.
We're gonna die. We go again.
This part of the fight is always annoying because there's really no easy way to judge how close or far you are away from it as you're falling towards it. But that's also the only bit of controller movement that you have during this entire sequence. Everything else is just a cutscene. So it's like they added that little bit of interactivity like it's an old QTE or something like that, without bothering to try to figure out a way to make it make sense. It's almost like you have to miss it the first time to figure out where you are. But you also don't lose any health for missing it, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Get ready, BD! Jump! I don't know how we're gonna get down from this. It's a long drop. Jump again? Okay, I trust you.
There, got it first try that time.
You okay? Yeah, I'm great. Wish I could say the same for this creature, though.
Yeah, that was kind of over the top and unnecessary, but whatever. And that fight looped us all the way back to where we were previously here. So, yeah. But we can get up there now. That's good. So yeah, now that our Monster Hunter / Shadow of the Colossus fight is out of the way, we can actually move on with the actual game. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that whole sequence. It's obvious that it was kind of a big point of effort for the developers. They put a lot of work into making it look really cool, but at the same time, it's like very gratuitous and unnecessary. It just doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of the game. There's so much that happens that's much more small scale, and then all of a sudden we've got this huge fight against this giant bat creature for no reason? I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of out of place, is what I'm saying. Especially considering that there's literally no reason for that creature to attack us except for
That's the bridge into their village.
Just like everything else in this game, is apparently
us to come back. Still, there's got to be a stealthier way in.
Apparently completely opposed to our very existence just because they happen to see us, but, you know. Whoops.
Honestly, I had no idea this was here when I pulled the bridge down. I just wanted to see what would happen. Like you and the cutter on Kashyyyk.
Alright, so we gotta sneak in through these tunnel / catacomb areas to get into the village.
We have sacrificed too many. He's too dangerous. We should kill him.
No, we take it for the business.
A vagabond. Yeah, so a lot of the let's see, where's vagabond? There it is. A lot of the echoes in this area talk about the Night Brothers and the Night Sister encountering someone who is very dangerous, but also very mysterious And it's obviously the guy in the black cloak that we met earlier. It's not really that mysterious at all. It's, you know, there's a difference between foreshadowing and just kind of beating you over the head with how obvious something is. Okay, so this is actually a good place for us to stop, because we're going to have to get through the village with the Knight brothers and then get back up to those ruins to try to find the Astrium and then take that Astrium back to Pagano. And this is getting very convoluted very fast. But you know what? We'll deal with that all next time. Jedi Fallen Order. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you. Good night.